silver moon, and today is day 28 of my 31 days with the Goddess Morgan. I am beyond happy with the way this entire challenge has just manifested and has turned into. Ending it yesterday with on my BOS work, on my Book of Shadows work, ending it with the Goddess Morrigan entry was so cool, and it was a cool little energy. I have very few little things planned for the rest of the week, but it's really going to be all about slowing down and tapping into that magical energy that's out there right now, especially on day 28, which is today, and then tomorrow with it being Thursday, which is 29th, and getting so close to the weekend. I mean, it's just going to be kind of a really cool energy. So I wanted to just do a really quick recap on the artwork that I've done and that we've been kind of a part of, and then go into a little bit more discussion on how that Morgan art piece kind of manifested. And so, as many of you know, this is my Book of Shadows. And right here, we start off with Maca. And man, look, am I in the frame? I don't know. But so with Maca, the energy it was definitely, and it still is, it's a very young, very rebellious, and not in a negative way, just in the, I'm going out there and going to get what I deserve, and my happiness and what I feel is right. Almost like that very Joan of Arc of going out with full conviction of your faith and your belief and what you want. It's that very driven energy with the Goddess Maca and that aspect. And I really, really enjoyed tapping that in. It has definitely been the driving force in my artwork, in my, let me hold it up a little bit higher. It's definitely been the driving force in my artwork, in my tarot deck, and working on that and just getting stuff done. I know after this challenge, I have a lot of stuff to do, to craft and to put back up in my website, to dedicate November to my website and to the product and stuff like that. And so the Maca energy is going to be very, very present for the month of November. And so I really like that, and tapping into that warrior aspect of ourselves. Really, what's that strength, and then that courage of just going out there and doing it, and not waiting for people to give me permission. I think that's one of those things. I think with the Goddess Maca energy, she's giving you permission. She's allowing you to give yourself permission to do what needs to get done. And so I love that. And so I really enjoyed that energy. And then we have with the Goddess Bob, which is let me hold this in frame. It's all about that death and transition aspect, and it's all about divination and magic, and tapping into that has been cool. And I've definitely learned a lot more about my intuition and trust. Trust has been such a huge thing this month. All about just trusting how these days are going to manifest, trusting on the content that I'm guided to talk about, and in the way that I am guided to talk about, and just allowing just Spirit and the Goddess Morgan to completely take over, and just realizing that this is the way it's meant to be, and releasing that ego, releasing the fears, and just watch it manifest. And it's been amazing, and Bob's definitely there. As soon as I have a fear, I check it, and I realize that it's just a fear. It's nothing real. It's normal, and I gave it to her, and I have her just go ahead and pass it so it can manifest into something more positive and beautiful, almost like a filter system. She's my Brita filter. But Bob has been cool, and I definitely don't see her too much she's definitely the crone aspect, but I don't see her as an older figure. I definitely see that banshee high priestess, kind of ethereal glowing elf kind of feel to her presence, and I really love it. And I know someone asked me about where I found this sticker. I can't find it. It was just something that I was Googling images on Google, and it came up, and I saved it and I printed it, and when I went back to find it, it was gone. And so I think it was just meant for me to find it to add it to here. So yeah, it's been cool. And with the transition with the crow here, you can see the little crow with the little skeleton in there. The story behind that is that during the time of battle, Bob will be there at the ready to welcome the spirits that were ready to kind of cross over and that needed assistance. And so for her, she will have wolves and she will have crows and ravens and um, kind of go out there, and while they were eating from the flesh of the wounded that have passed away, they were taking in their spirits. And so when these creatures, the wolves and the birds, will go back to Bob, they will be giving her those spirits, and so they'll be taking them with them. So when I saw this picture, I was like, yes, I have to have that in here because it definitely is symbolic about transformation. And I'm going to go into the Morgan about shape shifting in a little bit, but so this kind of taps into of shape shifting into the person that we want to be, whether that be the symbolism and the abilities of a crow, and then you're carried within that. I mean, it's really powerful stuff, and I really love that. So that was that little journey with Bob. And then when we got into more of a lively, colorful aspect to the goddess Morgan, then we were with the goddess Anu. And Anu, for me, it was that motherly thing, that motherly energy that I first came in contact with before the other aspects of the Morgan. And so when I was talking to you guys about a while back, before, possibly even before this challenge, when I was talking about that, I don't see the Goddess Morgan as being as cutthroat as many people have kind of made it out to be. And I don't feel that need to be warned. And it's because I guess for me, my energy always tends to be very compassionate and kind and welcoming. That's the way that she needed to communicate to attract me into her being, and to tapping into her energy. I needed to feel trust again. I needed to feel comfortable with that. And so having her come to me in the form of the goddess Anu first, as that mother energy, as that Gaia energy, was important because I needed to be able to feel comfortable before I delve into the different aspects of her. So she is seen as a fairy queen and the goddess aspect when she's in as the mother. And so it's all about the connection to the earth. And so when I'm outside taking a break and I'm just letting the sun kind of hit me and I'm looking at the trees and I'm observing everything, it really allows me to stop and take a moment and count my blessings and think about my abundant life and just everything that has been transpiring since I started this challenge. It's all about reflections and being grateful and humble for those opportunities and for everything you have. And so it's been cool working with that energy, and so I like that with Anu. It was really cool. And so now with the goddess, I just love this page so much. I'm gonna let the key kind of handle. Now with the goddess Morgan, so I'm going to read to you what it says. This I just kind of wrote all myself based on how I was feeling after the meditation. So I put, I am the dark mother. You have heard my call. Excuse me. You have heard my call. You have agreed to my terms. The road I pave is not an easy one to travel on, but the rewards are well worth it. You are ready for my lessons. My silver moon, be one with the crow. Use my smoke to aid you on your mission. Change in whatever form necessary to accomplish your goals. Learn from what the darkness can only teach. Let the healing begin. And you'll recognize some of the stuff that I decided to put that as the words of encouragement from her to me, rather than just a little bit of who she is. Because I don't think I need an introduction of who she is. I think now I'm pretty much well aware of what she could bring to the table and how I could use her to the best of my abilities, to her abilities to bring me to a service to a higher level. I did put the colors that correspond for me for the Goddess Morrigan, which is black, red, and purple. Stones, I have any black stones, like I have my pendant, I have a black onyx, or no, it's obsidian, kind of woof. This is supposed to like a woof fang, but it also looks like a crow talon, which I really love. I have my amethyst pendant too with a little crow in flight. Hematite, which I work a lot with hematite. Tiger's eye, which I told you guys before, which was one of the inspirations of my pendulum that I made, which will be on sale on my shop on Halloween, is that's one of the things that I want to do that day. So tiger's eye and amethyst. For herbs, I have mugwort, lavender, and rosemary. The moon phases, I put new moon and full moon. And then animals, I have the crows, raven, wolf, cow, and eel. And so that's kind of what I have in here. So the artwork for this one, I definitely wanted to showcase that the way that she came to me in a meditation. So the first time I had the Goddess Morrigan come to me in a meditation, she came to me, and if you watch my meditation, that was kind of my experience for the Morrigan. So I was in a meditation and I saw that I found myself in a broken down cathedral ruin that was taken over by nature. Very beautiful. I mentioned before that it kind of looked like something from New Zealand, and it reminded me of like Xena landscape. And I found myself in the center of it. And as I'm walking and figuring out where I'm at, I noticed that crows started to form. And as crows started to come out, then there was this black mist. But right before that black mist, I noticed when I looked down at my feet that I was standing in the center of a black pentagram. And that kind of pentagram turned to golden light, and then it turned into this really deep, vibrant neon purple. And so it was really interesting. And so as that smoke started to gather, like this black mist, it formed to the Goddess Morrigan. And in that meditation, I didn't get to see her head or her face. I got to see all that black smoke, and I saw crows just circling her everywhere and coming out, manifesting out of that smoke. And I also felt like my palms were getting really hot, and all of a sudden smoke was coming out of that. And in that meditation, I felt that she told me that use this to the best of my abilities to cleanse negative energy, to use it to help me shapeshift into who I needed to become, to transform, to banish, to hide, to protect, to use that as anything. That it's almost like, if you want to get nerdy with me, think of it almost like Green Lantern. That ring, that green light will manifest into solid objects, to a gun, to a knife, to a shield, to an orb to protect them. That's how I'm supposed to use that smoke that I envisioned. And so since I didn't get to see her face, I asked her to show herself to me this time so I could illustrate it. And this is the way that I saw her. I saw her still with the smoke. I saw her just very radiant with this beautiful headdress of just different kind of bird feathers, like black bird feathers. And I'm a big fan of like that Goldfrapp. If you know who Goldfrapp and you love her music, I love her look and her aesthetic. So I always do the eyes like Goldfrapp usually have them. And I just really love that. Also that belly dancer tribal fusion look to my art. And so a lot of the bead work, the headdresses and stuff like to my art have a lot of tribal fusion in it. So I really thought it would be cool to do the pearls here and 2 pearls and the rest of them falling behind her back. The red hair that has a little bit of a yellow hint to it to give it that fiery look. And I thought it was really great. And so I'm really, really happy with it. And so to talk a little bit about that shape-shifting aspect, because I think in the place that I'm at right now, the ability to shapeshift is going to be tremendous. It's going to be such a tool and an ability and a gift that it's going to be a muscle that I have to work on and develop. Because the idea of transforming to the person that you want to become, and almost like that crow that had the little skeleton in it, that's kind of how I want to become. So if I want to be that regalness of a black cat, because one of my my animal spirits And my guide is a black cat. So if I want that regalness, that power, that presence of a beautiful cat, and that, you know, it's, I have to think about what that represents to me and then embody that. And within it, it'll still be me, but I'll be portraying myself as someone that I want to become. And so shape shifting is going to be very important, especially when we talk about the leadership aspect of my life and my profession and stuff like that. There's certain situations that require me to be more confident and to take on a higher leadership role. So I have to transform and shape shift into that person. And so that's just, I mean, there's so much that I could do with that. And it's been a really cool journey. And I'm not sad that it's ending. I mean, I know most of you are because I won't be discussing a lot of it on camera, but it is going to be something that's just skyrocketed. Like I said, it's the beginning of something really great. So I'm super excited to just dedicate myself to the Goddess Morrigan for this time right now. And like I said before, it was really important for me to understand her in all her entirety and all her complexity in the triple goddess form so that I can understand her in a singular goddess form. So it's been great. And I'm really, I love it. I'm so excited and happy. And I'm really glad that I felt guided to kind of bring you guys along. Thank you guys for your great feedback, for all your love and support. And I hope you love the rest of the videos leading up to Samhain night. And yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this Book of Shadows work with the Goddess Morrigan. I'll definitely be doing more Book of Shadows entry as I feel inspired to show them. So thank you so much, you guys. Blessed be.